the 30s and the tough guys. 1934, and the Lindbergh case is 30 months and 12 days old. Yet no killer has been found. 2 years have passed, but the same old America with one slight difference. Now you could take a drink, but legitimately. Then the continent is electrified by a sudden announcement on the Lindbergh mystery from a police commissioner.
We have in custody the man who received the ransom money. His name is Bernard Richard Hauptman, 1279 East 222nd Street in the borough of the Bronx in the city of New York. He came to this country as a stowaway 11 years ago. He is an alien unlawfully in the country. Will this solve the Lindbergh kidnapping? In the opinion of all three of us, yes.
1279 East 222nd Street, the Bronx, in the state of New York. Here lived the suspect. In his rented garage across the street, they found $13,750 in bills, whose serial numbers checked with the notes planted by the law in various ransom payments. It was the passing of one of these notes to a gas station attendant that led to the arrest. The attendant wrote the car number on the face of the bill, which eventually proved to be a ransom note. Following up, the police found the car, stolen at Hopewell the day before the kidnapping. The license had been issued to one Bruno Richard Hauptman. A man whose neat records of his savings and expenses showed that while in America he had spent $49,950 more than he had earned. $49,950.44. And this, as was pointed out, was something. The lady of the house was also questioned.
When did you first see the money, Mrs. Hauptman?
I saw the money the first time when the detective took me down to the garage.
Do you think your husband is guilty of kidnapping the Lindbergh baby?
I'm absolutely sure my husband had nothing to do with the Lindbergh kidnapping case.
Hauptman appealed to be released on bail, but when he was brought before the judge, such was the nature of his crime, there was little hope. Hauptman, unlike the big boys, had no resources and no powerful friends. In any case, the state was in no mood to listen to a mouthpiece or to be lenient. So into jail he went. Behind the bars, while the prosecution went about methodically stacking and compiling its evidence. Even the telltale garage came down, in case the timber could yield a fact.
All manner of persons having business to do with this court to come, please.
So began at Flemington, New Jersey, the trial of the crime of the century. Among those present, Anne Lindbergh, Colonel Lindbergh, parents of a victim now 2 years dead. Betty Gow, the baby's nurse, Mrs. Hauptman, and the star of the show, her nervous husband, Bruno Richard. A courtroom so packed that you couldn't find a place to stand, let alone sit. And that is how it was throughout the whole proceedings. For this was a trial that drew the attention of the world. Every word, every lift of an eyebrow from its numerous cast was front page copy. The case opens with routine statements, time, place, and date of the crime. Evidence from Colonel Lindbergh. Formal identifications, etc., from Anne Lindbergh. Filling in of details by the nurse, Betty Gow. Then, a pathetic array of articles appears. The clothing worn by baby Lindbergh on the night of his kidnapping. A sleeping suit, which the state contends was the one turned over by Hauptman in return for the ransom. A thumb guard from the baby's suit. Always, Hauptman is the attraction. A subject for the artist's pencils, copy for America's leading journalist. Miles and miles of copy from such as Walter Winchell and Damon Runyon. The stuff of 1,000 headlines. Headlines for a world. But in America, whose national hero is Charles Lindbergh, the topic of the day, every day. On the street corner, in the subway, in the chairs in the barber shops. Is Hauptman guilty or isn't he?